Okay. So fine. So in the last class, we are done with. Don't worry, we're just looking at this very big architecture. I'll just tell you. Okay. Fine. So Shiva, can you see the screen, Anna? Shiva or somebody else? Anybody? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir, visible, sir.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay. So we are done with LANet architecture. We are done with LXNet. Okay. Thank you, Shiva. And then ZFnet. Sorry. ZFnet. And then we have VG, discussed VGG yesterday. And we are left with two more networks, GoogleNet and RustNet. GoogleNet was obviously been introduced by Google, and RustNet was introduced by Microsoft. Okay. So, fine. Let us jump into that, GoogleNet. Instead of, I already told you last time, guys, you don't need to remember every configuration of the networks, but you should remember what is the essence, on what base they came up with a new architecture, what is that thought process that was involved, that we have discussed. For example, I'll just revisit this thought process. In the LANet, they came up with convolution operation, then max pool operation, then convolution operation, then max pool operation. Then these LXNet people thought that why should I follow this sequence? Why should I always have max pooling after convolution layer? Can't I have something convolution, then max pooling? Yes. So that is a thought process that they came up with and tested their configuration, and they found out that the results are very good when compared with the LANet. Like this, every architecture has their own thought process that I already told before starting the network. So that thought process is extremely important. Okay, fine. So we are done with this four. Now we'll jump into GoogleNet. See, GoogleNet, I already told yesterday, like Google will not be actually like, we cannot become that much big company in the entire world unless until they came up with very logical architecture when compared with other architectures. You'll be surprised with the way that they came up with this logical architecture. They completely changed the way the architecture looks. So CNN architectures look like. So fifth one is GoogleNet. We'll discuss that. Yeah. Firstly, before I discuss GoogleNet, the GoogleNet fundamental module or block is inception module. Inception module. So, what happens with this inception module, or like the word inception, you may have heard it in the movies. First, let us see what is inception modules introduced by Google. Then we'll jump into how Google Net was constructed from this inception module. Okay. Firstly, before I discuss about this inception module, what is the thought process? Because I think first let us discuss the thought process, then only we'll jump into this inception module. Firstly, what is the thought process that they have before they introduced the GoogleNet? They have raised certain questions in their mind. The first question that they raised before they started working on this is, why should we apply serial operations? Serial operations in the sense, see how beautifully they came up with this question. I'm applying convolution, then some convolution, maybe max pooling, maybe some convolution, etc., etc. This is serial fashion, right? Now they thought, okay, why can't I do this parallelly? That means instead of doing like this, let me do like this: convolution, convolution, max, convolution. See how beautifully the image will be here, but they want to apply all these operations in parallel instead of doing once you get output here, then apply here, then apply here. This is serial fashion, but this is parallel. See how beautifully they raised the question. They don't know how the results will be if they apply parallel operation, but there's no wrong in testing their like their configuration by restructuring all these operations in parallel. So we'll see how it goes. So that's the first question that they have in their mind. Next question that they have in their mind is, why should I apply only one sized filter at a time? That means we are doing 3 by 3, or maybe we're applying 5 by 5 filters at one point. Okay. Now, can I apply different filters or different filter sizes at the same time? Now, what is happening, for example, in this convolution layer, I'm applying 3 by 3. For example, take the case of VGG. Unfortunately, VGG has used 3 by 3 in the entire architecture. Now, their question is, why should I restrict to one filter size, and that too, why should I do it in this at serial way? Can I also parallelize this? Can I also add parallelism into this? Okay, so that is the other question that they have in their mind. To answer this question, they started their experiments, they started the coding, and before the code, they have drawn on they have drawn the design. The design looks like this. This is my input image with 3 channels: R channel, G channel, and B channel. Now you have multiple operations being applied parallelly. Otherwise, if these arrows are not there, I apply one operation, convolution or max pooling, then followed by convolution max pooling, then followed by some other operation in serial. But I'm not doing that. We are doing in parallel. Now this is actually 3 by 3 max pool operation. Applying 3 by 3 max pool operation. Here I am applying 1 by 1 convolution operation. Here I am applying 3 by 3 convolution operation. Here I am applying 5 by 5 convolution operation. Now, what are you what is your thought in your mind? What is the thought in your mind is, how do we actually implement this? See, Nana, you should think all these operations as an independent operation. Whenever I apply 3 by 3 max pool, I'll get one channel, right? Based on, of course, based on the depth here. Since the depth is 3, I'll get one output here. Again, one by one, I'll tell you what is 1 by 1 convolution, you don't worry. Again, you'll get one output here. Again, you'll get one independent output. Again, you'll get one independent output. I'm not drawing the depth, I'm just drawing width and height. Okay. So this is called inception module, Nana. They just named as inception module. Okay. Now, why we have to introduce inception module? Because here all the operations or multiple operations are being done parallelly. That is very important. Okay. So what is the outcome? Okay, sir, instead of applying them serially, you are applying parallelly. So that means instead of serial, now we have parallel. Okay. Now you see, Nana, 3 by 3, 1 by 1, 5 by 5. Am I applying different filter sizes in the same level parallelly? Yes. At the same level, I'm applying different filter sizes. That means this is also done parallelly. Okay, fine. And Google people call this as inception module. Okay, fine. But what is the outcome of this operation? The final outcome. You should have a final outcome, right? You may get independent outcomes like this. But they will be aggregated into one outcome, right? One single outcome. So how do we aggregate that? That we will see. So inception module in detail. You understood why inception module? Because they want to do operations in parallel. Let us see this. Now let me draw the exact sizes that they have considered. So this is their image that they have considered. This is 228, sorry, 28 cross 28, and the depth that they have considered is 256. It may not be input image, it may be somewhere in between the architecture. Okay, because they did not apply inception module immediately after the input image is being supplied. Okay, because input image will only have 3 channels. Here they have 256 channels. That means they started applying inception module in between the architecture. Okay, what is the entire architecture we'll see, but inception module will be one of the modules in the architecture, in the entire architecture of GoogleNet. Okay, do remember, Nana, inception module is one of the modules in GoogleNet. Because GoogleNet has other modules. Totally, GoogleNet have 3 categories of modules, Nana. One is convolution operation, max pooling operation, and inception module or inception approach. It's not called as inception approach, but it's okay for the sake of simplicity. Convolution approach, max pooling approach, inception approach. There is one more thing called average pooling. See, again we have one more pooling. Instead of max pooling, we also have average pooling. So these are the 4 entries that we have to get final GoogleNet architecture. In that, we are discussing only inception module or inception approach. Let us understand this. Then this is already known to you. Convolution approach you already know. Max pooling you already know. Inception we'll discuss. Average pooling also we'll discuss. If we discuss these 2, then we are done with the GoogleNet architecture. Okay, fine. Let us say this. So 256, 28 cross 28. Now, what they have done is they've applied 96 1 cross 1 convolutions, and then later parallelly they've applied, because I have to draw very carefully, otherwise you will not be able to understand it. So 96 cross 1 by 1 convolution. I did not tell you what is 1 by 1 convolution. Let us see that once I'm done with this architecture inception module. Then you have parallelly 128 1 by 1 convolution. Then you have 192 3 by 3 convolution. Then you have then you have 32 1 by 1 convolution, followed by 96 5 by 5 convolution, then followed by 3 by 3 max spooling, and 64 1 by 1 convolution. And by aggregating this, they got final outcome. I'll discuss with that. Now in this, what do you don't know, or what exactly the operation that you are not aware? First thing is, what is this 1 by 1 convolution? The remaining convolution 3 by 3, 5 by 5 or max pooling, everything is aware to you. But what is 1 by 1 convolution? We'll discuss that. Then again we'll come back to this inception model. So what is 1 by 1 convolution operation? See, basically they came up with one other question that I've did not mention earlier is, okay, VGG came with 9 will increase. Now they want to come up with some approach where even though they introduced additional layers, the computation should not increase drastically. Maybe here and there slight increase is okay, but a drastic increase in the computations should not be there. So the answer for that is 1 by 1 convolution. So 1 by 1 convolution reduces number of computations. Okay, this is a statement that I'm making, but I did not tell you how it reduces. But the motivation is clear to you. The problem that they faced is they want to increase the number of layers, but the number of computations will increase, or the number of weights will increase. They don't want the computations to increase. This approach that they followed is 1 by 1 convolution. I'm saying that 1 by 1 convolution reduces the number of computations, but I did not tell you how. How 1 by 1 convolution reduces the computations, I did not tell you. That we will discuss now. Let me take an example. For example, let us take an image with 28 cross 28 with the depth of 192. Now assume that I just want to apply 5 by 5 convolution operation, and how many such 5 by 5s I have to apply? 32 kernels. That means what is my depth here? So 5 by 5 filter I have to apply across 192 channels. How many search channels or how many search kernels I have to apply? 32 search kernels. 32 search kernels. Each kernel is of size width 5, height 5, and 192 depth. How many search kernels? 32 search kernels. Now what would be your output? You already know. W output is equal to Wi. Wi is 28 plus 2p. Assume that it is 0. P is 0, so 2p also becomes 0. So minus f. F becomes 5 by yes. S is 1 plus 1, that is 24. That means your output will have size 24. Now it's 24 cross 24, but since I'm applying 32, the depth will be 32. 24 cross 24, 32. Now how many computations? See, number of parameters are this 5 cross 5 into 192 into 32. From beginning we are calculating the number of parameters, but what will be the number of computations? Since you are sliding this filter across 28 by 28, then obviously the number of computations depends on the size of your input. So it will be 28 cross 28 into the same thing, 5 cross 192 cross 32. These are my total number of operations. Okay, if you calculate this, it will be around 120.4 million operations done. Around 120 million operations. Okay. Now this is without 1 by 1 convolution operation, where your filter size is 5 by 5. Now I'm saying that I want to reduce this total operations using 1 by 1 convolution operation. Now what is 1 by 1 convolution operation is? Let us take maybe here itself, I'll take it so that it would be easy for comparison. Let me take the same input, Nana. Same input, maybe I'll just copy paste it. The same input will take. Now I'll apply 1 by 1 convolution, and how many search convolutions I'm applying? 16. Why 16? I'll tell you. It can be anything, but I'm just taking 16. Firstly, what is 1 by 1 convolution? See, it's very, very important, guys. 1 by 1 convolution operates across depth. 1 by 1 convolution operates across depth. It's difficult for me to draw, but it is like you know, this particular 1 by 1 convolution, it will be something like this. The depth of this is 192 because The depth of the input is 192. So it will have one pixel here, one value here, again it will have one value here, again it will have one value here, again it will have like this, it will have 192 values. The value here will be multiplied with the value in this first pixel, and the value here will be multiplied with the first pixel in the second channel. The value here will be multiplied with the first pixel in the third channel. The value here will be multiplied with the fourth channel first pixel. Like that, this will operate across depth. This is one by one filter which is having depth of 192. It's one by one filter which is having depth of 192. Okay, now this particular 192 depth filter will be slide towards the next thing. Then the second pixel will be multiplied with this value. The second pixel here will be multiplied with the second value. The third pixel, sorry, the third channel second pixel is multiplied with this pixel. Like that, it goes on. Like as ever, like we do that convolution operation is the same thing, but only thing you need to remember, the filter depth is 192. It operates across the depth. Okay, you need to visualize it now. I don't have any animation, but again I'm trying to tell you. For example, if I have, let's take only simple channel, one channel number 1, channel number 2, channel number 3. Okay, I'm not drawing completely. So I have pixel 1, pixel 2 here. Again pixel 1, pixel 2 in the next channel. This is channel C2. This is channel C1. This is channel C3. Again pixel 1, pixel 2. Maybe for the sake of clarity, what I do is I will not use P1, P2, and then I'll use P3, P4, P5, P6. Actually, there are 1, 2 pixels in the channels. Only for the clarity, I'm just doing like this. So these are the first 2 pixels in this channel. These are the first 2 pixels in this channel. These are the first 2 pixels in that channel. Now assume that this depth is 3. Depth is 3. Now I'll have 1 by 1 convolution. Since depth is 3, I'll have 3 values. Maybe V1, V2, V3. Now V1 will be multiplied with P1. Then V2 is multiplied with P3. Then V3 is multiplied with P5. We'll get one value, right? We'll get one, the output will have one value. Then next one will be V1 into P2, V2 into P4, the next pixel in every channel, plus V3 into P6. We'll get one more value. That value will be here. Like this, this is only one by one filter. Okay, like this, if you stride that one by one filter across the entire image of every channel, you will get one channel finally. Because if you stride like this, if you stride this one by one across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For every movement, you'll get one aggregated pixel like this. For every, because it operates across the depth, for every movement, you get one pixel, and finally you get the same size. If this particular size, width is 28 and height is also 28. It's 28 width and 28 height. After convolution also you will get 28 by 28 because I'm not reducing the size. One by one convolution will not reduce the width and height. It will only reduce the depth based on the number of one by one filters that you have chosen. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear? Should I explain? Because I don't want you to get confused with this one by one convolution. Is it clear? I just operate with the depth. That's all. Is it clear, guys? Anybody? Is it clear? Should I explain again? Make it fast. We're running out of time.
Sir, can you explain it again?
Yeah, great. Thanks for asking. Yeah. So yeah, what I do is let me see. Firstly, let me just. Thanks for asking. If you ask me, then I come to know, because it's a physical class. I can see your expressions and tell whether it was clear to you, but I cannot see your expressions now. Great. See, first of all, We started with GoogleNet. I'll tell you the motivation in 30 seconds. GoogleNet, the thought was they can increase the number of layers to 32, 64, 128, but the problem that they found is number of weights will increase. If the number of weights are increasing, it leads to overfitting that they don't want. So what they want is, even the number of weights are increasing, then the number of computations also will increase. Obviously, when the number of weights increases, number of computations will increase, because that many weights you need to multiply the pixel value. So the computations also increase. So what they want is, even though the number of weights are, first of all, if you want to reduce the number of computations, I need to reduce the number of weights. As simple as that. You cannot reduce the computations by keeping the same number of weights. Okay, so since the number of weights are more, the number of computations are also more. Let us reduce the number of weights. Let us reduce number of weights. Number of weights. Where the weights are present in the filters. For example, this is 2 by 2, where I have 100 weight, 101, 102, 103. Some weights are there. Some weights are there. Now, instead of using 4 weights, let me use maybe only 1 weight, 100. Did I reduce 3 weights? Yes. Perfect. Now, since I reduce the number of weights, the number of computations, because earlier I used to multiply with 100 with some other pixel in the image, 101 with another pixel in the image, 102 with another pixel in the image, 103 with another pixel in the image. So totally 4 operations. Now 100 with only 1 pixel in the image, only 1 operation. Only 1 operation. Now let us take the example of this 1 by 1 convolution. Let us take an image. This is image now, not filter. Image with some pixel values, maybe 3, 5, 7. I can also have this low range pixels, right? 10, 12, 15, 20, 25, 30. This is my image with only one channel. Assume that this is a gray channel, gray image. That means you'll only have one channel. Now I have taken 1 by 1 convolution. Since it's one channel, the 1 by 1 convolution will have only one value. Assume that it's just 2. Now, if I apply 1 by 1 convolution with 2, what I have to do? I have to multiply each value in the image with 2. Now, what would be the output? My output, it would be 2, 3, 6, 2, 5, 10. I'm multiplying now, just multiplying 2 with every pixel. 2 into 3, 6, 2 into 5, 10, 2 into 7, 14, 2 into 10, 20, 2 into 12, 24, 2 into 15, 30. So 2 into 20, 40, 2 into 25. Are you following, guys? 2 into 25, 50, 2 into 30, 60. This is the output that I got. This is 1 by 1 convolution. Why I have only one value? Because there is only one channel. There is only one channel. Now let us take 2 channels. Or should I write it here? Okay, let me write it this here itself. I don't want to repeat it again. Let us take 2 channels. Let me draw with one more color. Let me have second channel. Since I cannot draw completely the second channel here, I'm just drawing the second channel here. It is also 3 by 3. 1, 2, 3 here. Assume that it is 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, 10. Second channel values. Since I have second channel, my 1 by 1 convolution should also have 1 by 1 convolution. Earlier it is 2. And the next channel value, next channel 1 by 1 convolution will be, maybe assume that 3. This is 1 by 1 convolution. 1 by 1 convolution operation. See, where the first channel is multiplied entire thing. The first channel, that is first channel is this one. You multiply entire thing with 2. The second channel you multiply with 3. That is what is the second channel? This is the second channel. Let us multiply that. 3 to 6, 3 3 is 9, 3 4 is 12, 3 1 3, 3 to 6, 3 3 is 9. So like this you continue. Okay, maybe I'll write it completely. 24 and 30. Now, this is channel after convolution operation 1, this is output. After convolution 2, this is output. Actually, both belongs to same Nana. This is one convolution operation only. But what you're getting, since 1 by 1, this is 1 by 1 convolution of depth 2. Of depth 2. That's all. Okay. Now, what we have to do is, we have got two things, right? We have got two things. We need to aggregate these two. We cannot have two aggregations because I operate across depth. I operate across depth. So what I have to do is I have to aggregate these guys by adding 6 plus 6, 12, 10 plus 9, 19, 12 plus 14, 26, etc., etc., etc. Like this, you'll get it. That means what I've done, I have two channels. I have two channels. I applied one by one convolution of depth 2. There are two channels. I applied one by one convolution of depth 2. And since depth 2, I multiply 2 with this one. I multiply 3 with the second channel. Then I get two independent channels. Then I aggregate that. Finally, I get one output, which is of size 3 by 3. The input size is also 3 by 3. Okay. And what is the depth size? Depth size is 1 because I applied one by one convolution across depth. You understood? Now, this is only one convolution. Now, let us take one more convolution, maybe 5, maybe 6. This one, again, you multiply every value of 5 with this. You multiply every, every value in the second channel with 6. Then again, you will get two channels like this. Again, you will get one aggregated value. That means if there are one by one convolution, you will get one aggregated frame. If you have two one by one convolutions, you will get 2. If you have 3, you will get 3. If you have 5, you will get 5. If you have 10, you will have 10 aggregated frames. Is it clear, Nana, the person just asked?
Yes, sir.
Still not clear, you can just ask me, Nana, please. You can ask me. Yeah, please. It is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because that's the reason I'm not intentionally taking your name, because I don't want to make that recorded. So some person is asking, so that he'll be comfortable in asking again. Okay. So very, very, very simple. It's like earlier only, but now we are operating across depth. That's all. Okay. So now what is happening here? Finally, I have a 1 by 1 value 2 and another 1 by 1 value 3 in the second channel. So I multiply every value of my channel 1 with 2. Then I'll multiply every value of my second channel. What is your channels now here? This is my channel 1. This is my channel 2. I multiply every channel 1 with 2. Then I multiply every channel 2 pixel value with 3. This is channel 1 corresponding value, channel 2 corresponding value. I just multiply with 2. I just multiply with 3. Whenever I multiply, I get one cell. Whenever I multiply with 3, I get one more frame. But I cannot have two frames. I will aggregate that. I just sum it up. Then I get this value. But should I apply only one by one of size 2, of depth 2, not size 2? No? See, Nana, very, very important. Only one thing you need to remember: whenever I see any filter size, whenever I say 3 by 3, you're going to apply this 3 by 3 filter across a number of channels. That means maybe if the number of channels are 4, the same 3 by 3 filter, different 3 by 3 filter, another 3 by 3 filter, another 3 by 3 filter, another 3 by 3 filter. This is for channel 1, this is for channel 2, this is for channel 3, this is channel 4. That is the reason I made it as 4. Now, what is your configuration for your 1 by 1 filter? It's 1 cross 2. That means 1 by 1 convolutions. This is one by 1 convolution. This is another 1 by 1. Oh, sorry. I should not say this. Actually, it's not true. This n-type thing is called 1 by 1 convolution across depth, because I operate across depth. For example, I just want to apply 2. Already this is 1 by 1 convolution. Let us apply one more convolution where I multiply every pixel of my channel 1 with 5 and every pixel of my second channel, assume that I multiply with 10. This is another 1 by 1 convolution. So this is one by 1 convolution. This is another 1 by 1 convolution. So since for this 1 by 1 convolution you got this output, for this 1 by 1 convolution you get one more output. So totally you get 2 frames as output. If you have 3 1 by 1 convolutions, you'll get one more output. If you have 4, then you get 4. Is it clear, guys? Any doubts for other candidates? Can I go to the next topic? This is the next point. Okay. So please interrupt me if I am not clear of if you're not able to understand. Okay. Now, let us try to understand this particular 1 by 1 cross 16. I'm just trying to apply 1 by 1 convolutions. How many search I'm applying? 16 I'm applying. 16 I'm applying. Okay. Now, what would be the output? Can you guess? Anybody guess me? For example, if I apply only 1 by 1, leave about the 16. If I apply 1 by 1, that means I multiply with 192 different values across depth. Across depth, this would be 2, this would be 3, this would be 4, like this 192 different values will be there. I multiply every value in that across depth. Okay. Now, I would get, if I apply only one by one convolution, then I'll get 28 cross 28 of depth 1. But if I'm applying 16 search 1 by 1s, then I'll get one more 28 by 28, another 28 by 28, another 28 by 28. Like that, I'll have 16 28 by 28. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear? It's same like filter, but now I'm operating 1 by 1. See, whenever I say 1 by 1 filter, then we'll assume that its size is only 1 by 1. But we need to operate this across depth. That's the only difference. Now, let me apply maybe earlier. What is the operation that we applied? 5 cross 5, and you can apply 32. 32 cross. That means I applied 5 by 5. Applied 5 by 5 filters across depth 16. That means 5 by 5 filters I have to apply across depth 16. How many search kernels I'm going to apply? 32. Why should I take this configuration? Because earlier I've taken 5 by 5 filters applied, and how many search 5 by 5 filters? 32 filters. Now, if you just apply this, the output would be 24 cross 24. Since 32 kernels applied, the depth would be 32. Now, why I'm doing all this? Let us see this. Earlier, I got 122, so 120.4 million, or maybe approximately 120 million operations. Now, let us calculate the number of operations that I am going to compute in this case. So, there are two cases here. This is one category of computations and the second level of computations. Let us calculate for this level. What would be the number of computations? So here 1 cross 1, I'm applying this 1 cross 1. What is the depth of this 1 cross 1? Depth is 192. So 1 cross 1 filter I'm applying across the depth 192. And how many search filters? How many search 1 by 1 filters you're applying? 16 search filters. And I'm calculating the number of operations. Earlier also, whenever I calculate the number of operations, it's not number of parameters. I'm just calculating the number of operations. Number of operations depends on the size and width of your input layer. The width and height of your input layer. The width and height of the input layer is 28 cross 28. If you multiply this, you get 2.4 million operations. This is for the first one. Let us calculate the number of operations for this guy, the second phase, where I just applied 5 cross 5 across the depth 16. How many search kernels I'm going to apply? 32. What is the width and height of this? 28 cross 28, and it would be 10 million operations. That means total operations for your case is just 12.4 million. 12.4 million. So whenever I have 1 by 1 convolution before the actual convolution. 1 by 1 convolution before the actual. What is your actual convolution? This is your actual convolution that you applied above and here also. But before your actual convolution, if you apply 1 by 1 convolution here, what is the number of operations? What are the total number of operations? 12.4. Earlier, 120.4. That means almost 10 times your number of operations were reduced. Only to tell you this point, I have to do all this hangama. I can directly tell you 1 by 1 convolution obviously will have less number of weights than 3 by 3, than 4 by 4, than 5 by 5. Since the number of weights are less, the number of operations are also less. I can give you that intuition and then leave it, but I just want to tell you to what extent the number of operations will reduce. I want to quantify that. That's the reason I've taken this. So if I don't use any convolution operation here, sorry, any 1 by 1 convolution, I got 120 million operation. But if I use 1 by 1 convolution, I could get only 12.4 operations. Okay, so that is the main advantage of 1 by 1 convolution. Okay, perfect. Now, you in this case where we are trying to understand, the inception module, because the fundamental block of GoogleNet is inception module. In the inception module, we have this 1 by 1 convolutions. That's the reason I've discussed 1 by 1 convolutions now. And can you see any other operations not being discussed? We are done with this 3 by 3 earlier. We are done with 5 by 5. You know how to perform 5 by 5 convolution operation. You know how to perform 3 by 3 convolution operation. You know how to perform max pooling. Everything is known to you. Only 1 by 1 is not known to you because it operates across the depth. I was just taking some time to explain this. Now let us try to, because see, I get one output here, one output here, one output here, one output here. I cannot have 4 outputs. I always need to aggregate all these 4 outputs to one output because I consider all this as one single operation, that is called inception operation. Okay. Now let us combine all that 4 outputs. Okay. This is very, very important, guys. Just listen carefully because I would not be able to tell you this multiple times. But if you don't understand, you can ask me. So I'm just erasing this unnecessary part. Okay. So here, 96 1 by 1 convolution operations. That means what is the size of this now? If the size width is 28 and the height is 28, the output of this would also have 28 cross 28. And since you have 96 such 1 by 1s, I will have 96 as depth. So 96 1 by 1 operations if I apply, my size would be same 28 cross 28 and the depth would be 96. So width would be 28, height would be 28 and the depth is 96. Now let us calculate what is the output size, width, height and depth of this. But I cannot only take it from here. I should also go to this point. Okay, let us calculate the width, height and depth in this case. I applied 128 cross 1 cross 1. 128 1 by 1 convolution operations. That means if I just apply this formula, W naught is equal to input, W input. For this operation, what is the input? 28 plus 2P. P is 0 minus F. F is 1 because your filter size is 1 by S. S is also 1 by default plus 1. If you get it, this is still 28 nana. This is still 28. Now, can you tell me, guys, what is my intermediate output? It is 28 cross 28. How many search 28 cross 28? 128 search 28 cross 28. 128 search 28 cross 28. Now, for this, taking this as input, I applied 3 by 3 convolution onto this intermediate output. 3 by 3 convolution onto this output. If you apply, then actually it's little clumsy. God, otherwise I have to erase all these things now because I don't know. It's little clumsy part. I think I could have not drawn this entirely. Fine. So now let us do it one by one. 120 cross one by one operations have applied. One by one convolutions have applied. Now what is the output width? Output width would be 28 cross 28 and the depth would be 128. Now for this I'm going to apply 192 3 by 3. That means I'm applying 3 by 3 filters. I'm applying 3 by 3 filters across depth 128. How many search kernels I'm applying? 192. How many search kernels I'm applying? 192. Now if you supply the formula W naught is equal to Wi plus 2p minus f by s plus 1. What is Wi here? 28 plus 2p is 0 by default. Oh, sorry, here the padding they have considered is 1 now. They considered 1. And what is the filter size? Filter size is 3. Okay, by stride is 1 plus 1 and the output that you get is 28. She said why they have considered padding. The only goal that they have is they don't want to have different width and heights. They want to maintain the same width and height throughout the inception module operations. So that is the reason they have seen, okay, if I put 1, will I get 28? If I put 2, will I get 28? If I put 3, will I get 28? Just it's a brute force or simple calculation, and they just started with 1 and they got 28. So now, let me erase this. After this operation, what will happen? My output would be 28 cross 28, and what is the depth? It is 192. This is 192 cross 28 cross 28. Is it clear, guys? Any doubts? Okay, let me erase this and put this just. Yeah, the output for this is 192 cross 28 cross 28. Any doubts till this point? Because we have 2 more operations. Actually, we are time is actually not there. Okay, let us complete this. Just I think 5 more minutes are there. Just 4 minutes at least. I'm going to apply 32 1 cross 1 here. 32 1 cross 1. If you apply 32 1 cross 1, what would be the depth and height and width? Obviously, the width and height will remain same. And since you apply 32 1 by 1, the depth would be 32 cross 28 cross 28. Okay. Now, here I'm going to apply 96 5 by 5 convolutions. 96 5 by 5 convolution to this. Now, if you apply, it would be, again, you need to apply that manner. W naught is equal to Wi. Input is 28 plus 2 into, they've considered C now. They considered 2. Why? Because for 3 by 3, they've considered padding 1, but when filter size is increasing, the padding bits also should increase. So 2 into 2 plus, sorry, minus 5. Why? Because filter size is 5 by S 1. They got 28. It's blindly they have done this. What padding bits I have to add, or how many padding levels of bits I have to add, so that I get the same width and height as the input width and height. So now again, based on this, you get 28 here. That means you guess me the final output? It is 28 cross 28. What is the depth of this? Depth is 96, because I have applied 96 5 by 5 filters. Sorry, 5 by 5 kernels. Okay, so this is my intermediate output. So final output. This is the output. So 96, 192, and then finally we will see. And the final operation, they've applied 3 by 3 max pooling. They applied 3 by 3 max pooling. See here, very important thing, an extremely important thing. Generally, max pooling will have stride 2. Very important. In general, if you consider outside, the max pooling will have stride 2. But here, they did not consider stride 2. They have considered stride as 1. So what the output is, W output is equal to WI 28, because the input is 28 plus 2P. Padding they have considered is 1 bit nana, minus F because here the filters, because if you observe, there will not be any filter size associated with this max pooling, because it's 3 by 3 here. Even though they don't have weights, but the filter size is 3 by 3. So minus F by S is 1 plus 1. So it is 28. Okay, so only a very simple logic is what padding bits I have to add so that my width and height remains 28 throughout the inception module, because the input width and height is 28. So I want to maintain the same width and height. That's all. Now here, after applying 3 by 3 max pooling, the output that you will get is 28 cross 28. And how many 3 by 3 max pooling I have to apply? 256. Because I have to apply 3 by 3 max pooling onto this channel, for the second channel, for the third channel, for the fourth channel, like that. I have 256 input channels. So I will get 256 cross 28 cross 28. Now to this, I'm going to apply 64 1 cross 1 channels. 64 1 by 1. So if I apply 64 1 by 1, what will be your final output? Obviously, you get 64 such 1 by 1s. 64 cross 28 cross 28. Is it fine, guys? You need to look into the, maybe in the next class I'll again try to tell, but we'll not have this much time to elaborate. Otherwise, yeah. So let us summarize what we understood. I have 1 more minute. Let me change the color. Yeah. See here, what is the depth after this? 96. But 28 cross 28 remains same. Here also remains same. Here also remains same. Here also remains same. So this is my first output, second output, third output, fourth output. So if you observe here, it is 96. The depth is 192. Again, depth is 96. The depth is 64. Add all the depths, Nana. 96 plus 192 plus 96 plus 64. What is the depth? Just calculate me and tell me. I think 96 plus 192 plus 96 plus 64. It is 448. So what is the final output, Nana? Final output after this, it is 28 cross 28 only. The width and height will not change. 28 cross 28, but the depth would be 448. So this is the final output of one inception module. Final output of one inception module. Now the question that should come to your mind, sir, why they have considered 128 1 by 1? Why they have considered 32 1 by 1? Why they have considered only 3 by 3? Why not 5 by 5 max pooling? Again, I'm telling Nana, they tried all the combinations and they found that this is the right configuration for one of the inception models. Maybe tomorrow we'll see the Google Net architecture where they change this number of 1 by 1. They may be going to 154. Here they may go to 64. They change the number of kernels that they have to apply, but the sequence remains the same. That means convolution, max pooling. The sequence remains the same, but the number of kernels that they are going to apply varies across the entire architecture. For one inception model, this is the configuration. For another inception module, they have a different architecture, different sequence, or different number of kernels, to be precise. Okay, with this I'll stop the class and I'll take your questions. It's already late. I just want to complete the process I've told you.